Thank you very much, Zoom.
There actually is there's actually a thing with an AAC device that actually chooses the buttons by what you're staring at rather than you having to tap the buttons to put what you want to say. They have a version of Proloquo to Go that you just have to look at it.
Yeah, I've seen those actually before. I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
just making things more accessible. It's really nice.
I have a lot of friends who use Proloquo to Go.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it is just a really good tool. I'm happy that technology helps out in those kinds of ways.
Yeah, a lot of people with autism use it.
And extra questions. Okay. Whew. All right, big stretch, everybody. Big stretch. Let's do this thing. Happy Monday to all y'all out there. Launch Code Nation. What is it? May 2021 cohort. Yeah. Oh, okay. Taking a deep breath. Let's do this. It has been a Monday. It has been a Monday, but a beautiful Monday. Very hot. It's like 100 degrees, like at 10 a.m. or something like that. How many people we got? Everybody's sweating in their apartment right now. And I'm trying to be nice to my electric bill and turn off the AC, but I'm immediately regretting after like 15 minutes. Anywho, personal Kyle rant. Buying myself time as the caffeine slowly kicks in. I did not make it in time here. So let's just have a hour-long conversation. How's that sound? Do you guys really want to learn today? Okay. Well, I saw Jade's like, yes, teach me, Kyle. Do your dang job. All right, get to it. All right. Fine. Twisting my arm. Let's get to it then. Welcome to modules. Welcome to lecture number 8. Today we're going to be learning how to share our stuff. So sharing equals caring. And look at those 2 adorable dogs. Right? Doesn't it just get you excited and ready to do this?
I hate that.
No, you can't say that. All right, let's hop into it. Announcements, as always. I know I have to bring it up here, but assignment number 2 is coming our way, due 6/21, the 21st. So if you have not, please, please, please look at it at the bare minimum. See what you have to do, see what you have to study, get those questions forming, and just start it off. See how you're feeling with it. You have the necessary tools to do all of that. Today, we're going to be learning that last bit of a concept to really help us out, but you can still definitely start approaching the problems with all of the building blocks that we've learned here today or in the past lectures. Continue on. We have no lecture on Thursday. So you do not get to hear my pretty voice on Thursday. I'm so sorry. You'll have to be going to your straight to your individual groups. You still do need to come to class, but you won't be coming to lecture. You'll be going directly to your individual groups. What Thursday is called a catch-up day. Catch-up day. And what you're going to be doing on that day is catching up. So have those questions ready. Work with your TFs, work with your fellow colleagues, catch up on any concepts, studios, exercises, or just going into that assignment 2, whatever need be. That's what Thursday is for. As always, if you have any questions or need to talk to me, feel free to direct message me. I also have the calendar lead that's open for anybody who needs one-on-one time. Continuing on, we also have a guest lecturer next Monday. Bree will be teaching us, and I'm very excited. Yes, Bree will be coming in and teaching us on Thursday. Get excited. I believe it will be unit testing, so they will be covering all of those concepts. So I don't know if Bree's on the call. I think there's someone there, but you all will get, if you don't know Bree yet, you will meet, you'll meet them whenever they teach on Monday. So get ready. Yes, Johnny.
Isn't today Monday?
It'll be next Monday. So I am not Bree, so I'll be here today. Don't you worry. But next Monday, yes. They will be here and going over unit testing. So, yep. Sorry about that non-clarification. Next Monday, you're stuck with me today. Finally, there will be no studio review tonight. No studio review. It is going to be going over, if you haven't looked at the studio yet, it's about going over confidence. So I'll be posting tips about how to approach confidence when it comes to coding. Sometimes we get overwhelmed and we think that coding might not be for us. We aren't maybe intelligent enough to do coding. All of those are misconceptions. And so this studio will be kind of covering that and how to get over those kinds of ways of thinking. So everyone enjoyed that. As always, if you do have any questions about that or what it's covering, feel free to direct message me. I'm always here for you. All right, everyone, that is all we got here. So what we're going to be doing next, as always, unless there's any questions, feel free to throw them out in the lectures questions channel, or feel free to unmute yourself right now if anyone has any questions about announcements before we dive into today's lecture. Oh, and I was told that I was completely reminded, and I still forgot. I'm going to enable auto transcripts there. To anyone who sees that I don't have the transcript on, or if I'm not recording, please feel free to, again, direct message me. I'm human, I make mistakes quite often, so please just let me know when I'm doing one. But everyone should see those live transcripts now on their screen. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any questions. I'm not seeing anybody unmuting, so let's dive into some lecture. Today, as always, we're going to be starting off with just get those cogs moving. Let's brush off those spider webs from the weekend, and let's talk about our concepts here. If I wanted to create an array of snack foods, popcorn and cookies, doesn't that sound delicious? How would I do it? Someone talk me through it.
Let snack
Let's
foods equal square brackets.
equal square
Brackets, I heard it, and those popcorn and cookies have to be in those quotes. I did get a quick question here. Are we starting at 5:30 still on Thursday? Yes, you are. 5:30, you will be coming here, or not to this lecture, but you'll be coming into class directly to your small groups. All right, so awesome. We created that array. And next we're gonna say, all right, if I wanted to add pretzels to the snack foods array, what are we gonna use?
Push.
Snack foods.
Push. Very good. We push it in there. Push it into the array. That's how we add something into an array. If we wanted to remove the end index, we would use .pop, aka soda in Chicago. Or we could do the .splice if we wanted to remove something within the array individually at a very specific index. So very good though. .push, we add that way to the array. Let's keep moving on. If I wanted to convert all of these snacks to uppercase in the array, how would I do that?
Snack
foods
foods
to
uppercase.
Now, .to uppercase is actually a string specific.
Oh.
So we cannot do .to uppercase
You
on
could
an array.
loop over it.
How could we do that? How can we loop
You
over
can
it?
split it into string and then use two uppercase.
Now, we could do that and go through a for loop and individually manipulate each one. But remember, sometimes we don't exactly want to do that if we want to manipulate the entire array. We want to maybe use another
Bracket
type of function.
Index notion?
Bracket.
.map.
I heard it.
.map.
Good job. First, we need to say
.map.
snack foods equal .map. .map. But I do like, I heard some other ways. Again, there's a million ways to code one thing. But in this instance, I was looking for .map. Now tell me this, .map takes in a parameter, but what kind of parameter do we pass in there?
Function.
Bingo.
Anonymous.
And more importantly, an anonymous function.
Yeah.
This anonymous function takes in one parameter for map, which is going to be in that parentheses, we're going to call food. Again, it's an arbitrary name. We can name it anything we wanted. And then the curly brackets. Then finally, we need to return something from that method. So we say return, and then here it is. Food is going to be a string, individual string item. So we can do that .to uppercase on that food variable or that parameter. This right here will actually give us back all of our food items in uppercase. Now, because again, I'm human, I forgot that I do not have my Google Chrome stuff done. So give me a second to open up Replit here. Hope everyone's snacking on this example. Isn't that great? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say new Replit. And I'll bring this down here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Promise no scary magic or anything. Excuse me, we need to do JavaScript as always. I'm gonna say lecture 8, create Replit. Let's go ahead and just take a look at that map because, again, anonymous functions are very important. As you've seen from the past few lectures, we're gonna be using them quite a bit. So we said let snack foods equal popcorn. Someone else give me a snack food out there.
Pretzels.
Pretzels. We'll do pretzels. Any other ones?
Cashews.
Chips.
Oh gosh, give me something I can spell. Cashews.
Grapes. Oh man.
Grapes. Is grapes? That's a healthy snack. I like that.
Oreos.
We'll stay a little healthy here. Oreos.
Dates.
I do love some Oreos.
Yeah.
All right. So what we said is that we use .push to add it in there. So if we want to do snack foods I heard one more. Someone say one more. .push. What is it?
Dates.
Dates. We can do dates.
Those are so
My neighbors back in college always had dates, and they always shared. They were the nicest people. All right, and now what we said is that we need to actually, so we're gonna go ahead and print out this list of snack foods here. Snack foods, there we go. We're gonna go ahead and print that out, run it, and everyone look, it's all lowercase. Okay, that's what we want. Let's go ahead and make it all uppercase now. So we say snack foods equals snack foods dot map, and we add that function in there. We say food, curly brackets, and we return URN food dot to uppercase. There we go. We run this again, and like magic, it's all uppercase now. Remember, dot map is a way we can loop through and manipulate the array. Fantastic. Let's keep moving forward. If I wanted to build an object called snack with the name of popcorn and a price of $1.99, how would I do it?
Snack.
Let's snack.
Yeah, let's snack.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's snack equal. I'll even give you the equal
Curly
sign for free.
bracket.
Curly bracket, very good. How we start to build an object was with curly brackets. Building an object with curly brackets. What's next? Let's add name first.
Name, colon.
Name,
Colon. There we go. Winner. Yes, colon in there.
Yeah.
And we're going to add the string popcorn,
Nice.
so we wrap that in quotes.
Uh,
Now,
Comma.
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 Awesome. Yes, we had a comma there.
And then
And now we're going
price,
to add that price. Very good. We're going to add price there now.
colon.
Colon again, $1.99, just like that. So of course I'm saying $1.99, but what you see here is an actual decimal. So there's no dollar sign here. So it's the number 1.99, but the price we know is technically a price or a concept of the dollar. So that's why I kept saying that. But anyway, there we go. We can add a decimal in here as well. Tell me this though, if I wanted to change the name to butter popcorn, someone talk me through how to do that.
snack
Let's not go butter popcorn.
one.
I'll give you a snack.
Snack.
Dot pop.
Dot name.
No, dot name.
Dot name, very good. We use that dot notation. We have to ask, hey, snack, I want your name to equal butter popcorn. That's how we reassign a particular property within our object. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Kyle, I know there's a second way out there, and person out there that's not saying it right now to me, you're absolutely right. We can use dot notation, but another way we can access or reassign properties inside of objects is through bracket notation. Bracket notation. Remember, there's two ways to reassign things or properties, the values of properties inside of objects. These are the two ways, dot notation on the top, bracket notation on the bottom. All right, let's keep going. Whew, deep breath. All right. If I wanted to start building a function called choose snack because I'm hungry, that takes an array of snacks. How would I do that?
Let's snack equal function.
Snack.
I am trying to build a function. If I wanted to
Function.
yes, very
Function.
good. We want to build or create a
Function.
function. Build or create a function. We start with that keyword function. Then the name of the function, choose snack. And then in the parentheses, the parameter, array of snacks. This is how we build a function. We created the function.
Array of snack.
The next thing we need to say, or I want to ask, does anyone out there remember how to choose a random number? This is a very, very specific thing in our last studio.
Random.
And I'm hearing someone shout it out, and I love that. So I'm just going to give it to everyone so we don't have to shout out the whole thing. But this, I know people's eyes might get a little wide here. They are, in fact, this is how you do a random number. Now, you don't need to remember this off the top of your head. Feel free to write this down in a notebook or just know where you're keeping it within your code to use it whenever you need it. So this is how we create a random number, but we never really talked about exactly how it's actually doing it. So let's go ahead and go through it just so I can introduce you all. Let's start with this part. This is math.random. We talked about it a little bit last class. This is a function that's going to return a decimal between 0 and 1, but not ever 1. It's never going to be 1. Now that's really important because as we can see, math.random, whatever that decimal is, will be multiplied by array of snacks dot length. So that being said, what this is right here is actually the max number of the random number we want plus 1. So this can be replaced if, say, I want a random number between 1 and 150. I would put here 151. It's my max number plus 1. Max number plus 1. Remember that. That's why we have an array of snacks.length here. You know that if we call to the index of array of snacks.length, it's not going to exist. If I have a size of, or a length of 5, there's no 5th index because it goes 0 to 4. So that's why we don't want to put, or that's why we don't want to put the exact number here. We want to do the exact number plus 1. Finally, continuing on, math.floor. If you haven't seen floor or looked into it, this is truncating. What truncating does is that it just takes a decimal and gets rid of it. It doesn't round, it just gets rid of the decimal place. So it basically brings it back down. So if you have 10.99999 and you floor that, it's gonna bring it down to 10. So this really helps us because it gives us a whole number to work with for our random number. So again, this is how you pick a random number. I'm telling you this now because it will potentially be an important thing in the future. So just let you know. Next, how do I return a random snack from this function?
Return choose snack.random.
Array.
No, array of snacks.
Very good. Array of snacks, because that's our parameter. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So this is how we would choose a snack. So let's go ahead and we're going to write this over here. It said function, and we're going to choose a snack. What do I call it? Choose snack. Bad grammar. Snack. Then array of snacks. There we go. And then we needed to do our let our rando index equal math.floor, which again is going to truncate that. And then we do math.random with that lowercase r, random. Then we multiply it by whatever our array of snacks is. And I'm going to go ahead and close my panels here. I know that is a very good common request. Array of snacks dot length. There we go. And now I'm going to return array of snacks with at the index of whatever my random number generator has chosen for me. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take this function and put it at the very top here, right about here. Comment out that stuff. We don't need this anymore. So I'm just gonna put that to the bottom. I just put this up here so we can clear out some space so we can actually do this. What I'm gonna do is say console.log and now choose snack. And I pass in whatever my snacks are, which is snack foods. Put that in there. What do you think it's gonna pick? I'll bet some cookies on it.
Okay.
I was gonna say cookie.
Cookie? Let's see what it goes. Oh, it does popcorn this time. Let's try it again. Now it's grapes. Ah, too healthy. Let's see. Oh, it's still grapes. Oh, there's cookie. Awesome. So what we see now is that we're actually getting random things generated for us and returned back to us inside of this function. Isn't that pretty nifty? All right. So we've already done some cool stuff, and it's only the first something minutes into the lecture. Look at that. We're on a roll today. So everyone just remember, oh, there you go. Everyone be awesome. Let's get more coffee. Fantastic. Let's do this thing. All right. We're going to keep exploring just a bit more about our functions and everything that we have learned up until this point. We've been calling them building blocks, which I continue to refer to them as building blocks. So let's look at our building blocks. The first one we just saw, we see this thing right here, this let snack foods equal some kind of value. We already know this is called a variable. So this is our first thing that we learned at the very beginning of class. The second building block we learned was the if statement, those conditionals. This is the second part of the building block. This is allowing us to have options, be able to do something if something is true, or else do something if something is false. So this was something that we started to include inside of our replets, inside of those small applications that we were building. Then we started to get a little bit more intricate. We introduced loops. while loops and for loops, the things that are able to iterate over and over repetitive code to help us out, or read through an array, or continue to loop while something is true or false. So we introduced that in there, and we're able to reconfigure things. Remember that conditionals can go inside those loops. And if you wanted to, for whatever reason, you could put loops inside of if statements. These building blocks are rearrangeable. We're able to see exactly how we can start building applications with some good integrity. Then finally, we had this monster come out of nowhere, the function. So what exactly was a function? It was something that actually wrapped everything together. So we put these for loops, these variables, these if statements, everything inside of these functions so it can create or run a repetitive task. Now, let's move one step further. We have our functions inside of our applications, but we also know that we have multiple functions inside of our applications now too. You don't just have one function and call it a day in those apps. You've seen it, especially on assignment 1, multiple applications, all within one single file. Now, one thing we haven't discussed is the actual why in the heck do we even put these inside of a file? Well, it's because in these files, this is where they live. This is part of our application. But as you saw in assignment 1, you have multiple files. Sometimes things share between each other. These files aren't necessarily just files. They're a certain kind of thing that we're going to be exploring today. As you might have guessed from the name of the lecture, these files are not always files, but sometimes things called modules. Modules. What these module files are is a way essentially how to share our functions with other modules or other files. If I wanted these functions that I wrote here inside of another file or a module, I don't want to have to copy and paste my code. Instead, I want to be able to share it. And what we're going to be exploring today is how to share these things, is exactly how to export our functions to other files or other modules. So that's what these are here for. Now, we might be still questioning what exactly their necessity is, but let's go ahead and keep diving a little bit deeper into this exporting and into the modules and see if we can find something that's useful. Now, if we bring this module in, we already have choose snack. I'm bringing just in a random function here called another func, parameter 1, parameter 2. Just bear with me. It's good for the example. And there at the very bottom, we have a thing called module to refer to our file actually having modules. And then we want to say, hey, I want to share one of my functions with other people. So what I do is put module.exports. This is again dictating that I want to share something with other people, other files. So now I need to tell it, what do I exactly want to share? In this case, what I want to share is choose snack, that function. So this is what I do. I put choose snack, choose snack. Now this is really weird. And I saw this in our book, and it could sometimes easily be taken the wrong way in this example. So what we're going to do is look a little bit closer at exactly what we're doing here. When we have module.exports, let's go through what it's actually saying. Again, this module.exports, wow, can't talk. This module.exports is saying I want to share a function with other files, with other modules. So the next thing we need to do is include these curly brackets. You've seen this before in the last lecture. You're creating an object that's going to house more functions inside of it. How do we tell properties and values inside of objects? Well, on the left-hand side of the colon, we have the name of the property, how we want to refer to the function. This is the name of the property, which can be anything. We'll see more about that here in the future. The other one, and it must be unique. As you already know with objects and with this, it must be unique. You cannot have choose snacks on the left-hand side of that colon, because the world will explode. Next, we need to talk about the right-hand side of the colon. This is the actual name of the function in the file. Not with those parentheses, though. This is the actual representation of the function. This is where the actual data is coming in, that function is being saved inside of our exports. So, this is how we start exporting our stuff. Let's go ahead and see it in action and see what we actually can do here. We come back here into our code, and I need to see my stuff, please. So what I'm going to do is going to create a file. I'm going to call it snacks snacks.js. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this choose snack function in here. I'm going to cut it, bring it over here. I'm going to paste it. Now what I'm doing here is I'm creating a single file for all of my snack functions. Whenever I'm hungry and just feeling like I just need a snack, I'm going to come to the snacks.js file. We're housing tasks now, functions, with the same kind of stuff, the same kind of context, aka anything that has to do with snacks. And what we said we're going to do here is we're going to say module.exports. And what we're going to do is curly bracket, and we're going to say choose snack, then choose snack, just like that. All right, so we did this, and we're going to go ahead and run it. Oh, did I not do that right? Oh, sorry. I did that. Ah, what am I doing wrong? Oh, what am I doing wrong? Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't need to do this. I need to make it into an anonymous function, I believe. Let me make sure I'm doing this per how the book wanted. Give me 1 second. Bear with me here. All right. I did how you wanted. So why are you being like that to me? Let's work with me on 8. Oh, no. Darn it. Oh, and go ahead and do this with it. Const choose snack. This is what happens when you do live stuff. Function. Let's go ahead and just make it an anonymous function and see if Replit will be happier with that. Choose snack. There we go. Run that. Am I spelling something wrong? Oh, I'm like, what the heck am I doing wrong? It's Kyle, you should maybe debug your stuff better. If I go over here to index, what it's saying is that choose snack over here is not defined. Look at that, Kyle having to debug stuff. That's what it was. So the function is not in this file, which by the way is an error I guess we haven't really seen yet. You have to make sure your functions are in the same file. So if we run this again now, everything's okay. I'm like, what was I doing? Like, my gosh, it is definitely a Monday. So that error was coming out here because again, this function was being called in this console log. This function is not defined here. That error was definitely reasonable because we brought that function over to here. So nothing about the code was broken over here. So we were definitely doing that. It was really weird. So let's go back on track here. Our function choose snack was pasted into here. We brought it into the exports. We still have no idea how we're going to actually use this. So I'm going to open up here for questions just on the exporting thing. We haven't done anything with the other side of it, which will be importing, which we'll talk about here in a brief second. But let me go back over here. That. In the book, we didn't use an object for single exports. WEMA, technically, yes, we could just do a single export to everyone. A single export would just be looking like this. But like we have in our example, we will be doing more. So this is a single export if I want to do that with the equal sign there. But I'm going to be putting more functions in here, so I'm doing a multiple export. So that's why it looked like that. But to everyone, this is a single export. If I just have one function I want to export. But you can still export a single function like this as well. Either way. Does the export thing need a semicolon? It does not. You do not need to put a semicolon anywhere in here. If you feel comfortable, you can put one right there, but it's not necessary. Do we need require line and index? Pujo, we will not be needing that just yet. We'll talk about require here in a moment. You need to lose a comma in line 7. You can put in there or not, it's up to you. JavaScript's not going to complain too much. There was a different form for single functions. Yes, we went over that. That's only a single function. It is, yes, yes, for everybody with single functions, you can do it in both ways. If you want to do it with the equal sign, you absolutely can. I'm going to be importing more in this example, so I'm doing it like this. Over one more time with the first choose snack is. This right here, as we know in objects, the left-hand side of the colon is the property name, aka how we're going to refer to this value within this object. We'll look at how to use this in a moment. Specifically, why is it listed twice? Don't think of this as twice. Think of this as the name of the property on the left-hand side and the value of the property on the right-hand side. This right here, this choose snack, refers to this guy right up here on line 1. This value here is completely up to the developer. I can call it whatever. We'll go over that in a bit, but you did not have to name the left-hand side choose snack if you didn't want to. It's just standard that we keep the names consistent so we don't go crazy when we're trying to find our stuff. We'll go over that a little bit more too as we move forward. So we're going to dive a little bit more into this. Keep your questions too. Feel free to post them, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper so we can actually see what's going on. Like we said, choose snack on the right-hand side is the function that actually refers, or is the value that actually refers to the function up there in the top. So we're going to continue moving on here. I would stay on that example, but we can't do anything fun yet. So I want to bring something in so we can do something with all that. Okay, so we're coming back here to our module, and this is our file. Remember that we have another function up here. I want to let you all know that you do not have to export every function every time. You can choose what you want accessible and what you don't want accessible, what you want to share and what you don't want to share with other modules. So remember that. In this example, though, we are going to make sure we're exporting everything. So what we have is that we are going to put a comma here, a comma, because we're separating our values. And then we're going to say my func colon another func. Again, you can choose an arbitrary name, the left-hand side of the colon, to be whatever you want. Though I do recommend keeping standard and keeping it whatever your function's name here. I'm doing it like this to show you that the left-hand side does not need to stay consistent with whatever the right name side is. But again, standard says that they should be the same. That's why you see that in the book. So we're going to go back over to the code and we're going to create one more function. In this one, I'm going to say function add char to snack, something like that. And it's going to be snack name and then a character. So if maybe I just want to put a parenthesis or an exclamation point or something like that, what I can do is say return snack name plus character. I am just creating an arbitrary function here for the example. Don't take too much reading to this. And now what I want to do is I'm going to add it to my exports. So here I'm going to say add char or my func whatever, and it's going to refer to my add char to snack function. Again, just showing you that the left-hand side does not need to be consistent with the right-hand side. All right, I'm going to pause here for one more second and unmute you so you all can yell at me. Any questions about this exporting right now? Again, we have not used these functions just yet, and we'll see how to do that here soon, but just any questions around how to export these modules? Anything at all? Okay. Oh, a few questions here, so we'll just take a quick pause. And if it's quicker, feel free to just also shout it out. Would you keep the left side consistent with the right-hand side in the real world? You would. Like I said, that is standard to keep the left and the right side consistent. So yes, you absolutely should into the future. Again, I was just showing that to show you that it isn't necessary, but it is standard. Can you only export functions right now, or will we learn how to export arrays and vars later? Right now, we're only going to be exporting functions. You can export data like arrays if we wanted to export our snacks. But right now, we're only going to be exploring functions. If you are curious, feel free to just Google that, how to export just information or data. You absolutely can. If we have time, maybe we can do an example in the end. All right, everyone. I'm not seeing any more questions, so I'm going to, oh, did I? Okay. Oh, I didn't let you guys all unmute yourself. I'm sorry. I'm a big liar. Jeez, making everyone stay muted. All right, let's keep going. You're all probably also wondering, how the heck do we actually import this stuff, Kyle? Yeah, we've been doing a lot of exports, but how do we actually bring it in so it's actually useful? That's a great question. Let's explore it. We have been doing this, so you actually all know how to do this already. We've been importing things since about lecture 2, I believe, or maybe even lecture 1 in some of our examples. One of our most famous imports that we've been doing is that readline sync. We have been importing stuff all along. So the concept of importing is nothing new to us. Let's go through this though, just to make sure that we're all on the same page about what this is actually doing. The first thing is the const input. This is the name of the variable that we use to refer to the module, to that object full of the goodie bag of stuff we can do. In input or readline sync's case, that dot question, that famous dot question function we use a lot. Let's keep moving down the line. We have require here. Require tells the computer this module must be imported for this application to work. The computer's going to go through, hence why we always have a requires at the top of the application. We always have them there, so the compiler knows to look for these things first before running our application. Then next, and the most famous and also most important part, is this readline sync in the quotes. This is actually telling us the name or the location of the module. The name or the location. In readline sync's case, this is the name of the module that we'll get from npm, which we'll talk about npm in a little bit. This is where the name of something we're going to go grab from that npm package store and bring it in. But the other part we haven't really seen yet is this location portion. Remember, we can create our own modules now, so we need to provide a location of where they are. Let's go ahead and explore using our own modules. So what if we wanted to import our snack file that has our choose snack function in it? Now, this is one thing we haven't seen yet. Let's go over to our thing. We created this snacks.js file here, but we want to access it in our index.js file. How do we actually do that? Well, it's a lot like that readline sync with a little twist. Of course, we start out with const, and then whatever the arbitrary name of the variable you want to do. In this case, I'm going to call it snack, but you can call it snack2 or my snack, anything you want to do, just so you know what's actually inside of it. And then that require, to tell the computer to look for this file, this module, before you actually run the application. And then finally, you put in the address, the location of the file. So we have ./snack.js. So let's go ahead and go over there and actually do this. We're going to actually import it. As we always know, we import things at the very top of our application. So we say const snack equal require quotes ./snack.js. It's called, oh, I call it snacks plural. So I'm going to do that. So it's going to be snacks plural in this application. I'm going to go ahead and run this. We see that still nothing happens, but we're not getting in there. So that's 2 thumbs up right there. So let's go back now and talk about how do we actually call choose snack? Well, I would ask you on input, how would you call .question? Obviously, we use dot something. In this case, we're going to use choose or snack.choose snack, and then our parentheses to call that function. Functions need 2 things. We need to create them and we need to call them. We're on the calling portion now. So we need to do .choose snack, the actual function we want to call to, and provide those parameters. Let's go actually see this in code. Here, we're importing it, and now we need to call it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say console.log, and just to show that output to the screen so we actually see what's coming back, I'm going to say snack.choose snack, and then I pass in that array once again. So I'm going to say snack foods. There we go. And then will it run? It does, and we get cookie back. What a great day. got cookie back the first time. Look at that. So what we did here is that we imported our module from snacks.js. We brought in those functions into our index.js file or module here. And now we're actually calling to our choose snack function here by using snack, which again refers to that module that we imported. There we go. We're getting snacks back. Isn't that awesome? Oh, I see some people are like, oh, this is like, it's like we're talking about cookies, but like you're not keeping me here, Kyle. Like, give me something more. I'm like, I'm trying. Okay, this is really cool to me. We're bringing in stuff from another file. If that's not blind blowing, I don't know what is. But anywho, we're gonna pause here. We imported stuff after we exported stuff. So what questions do you all have about what we just saw here?
I have a question, Kyle.
Go ahead, Wima.
So for the export, we did choose snack. I get the choose snack function that you're doing in the console.log, but how does that key choose snack now, how does the computer know that the first choose snack is now snack? Or does that make sense?
So let's trace it back here. You're talking about this choose snack here, right?
That's the function. I get that. That's
Okay.
the value in the object. So the dot export, we do the key is choose snack and the function is choose snack. So I get that you're calling the function. Why wouldn't we have used choose snack instead of snack? And why wouldn't the computer have given us an error? Because we're not using choose snack anymore. We're using snack.
So we're talking about this choose snack here, right?
Yeah, which is the first one.
So if I removed this from my modules.exports, the other file can't actually see it. The only way for my index.js to see it is if I put it inside of this .exports. So what this is that, and make sure I'm understanding your question, is that the computer can't actually see this at all over in the index.js file. So over here, we don't have any concept of choose snack, only within this snack object. So I might have gotten lost with your question there. So I guess give it to me one more time.
I'm not getting how we can go from, I'm talking about the key choose snack, not the function. So the computer, we told the computer that the key was choose snack, but then we're not using choose snack, we're using snack instead. And I'm just not getting how come we're not getting an error message because we told it in the exports that it would be choose snack.
Okay, so think of snack not as the function or anything that. This, what's highlighted is snack. Everything in this file is snack.
Okay.
That's so that file was just highlighted. Think of everything that was highlighted packed inside of this variable here. Now, you should ask yourself, okay, if all this is highlighted and packed inside that variable, how does it know which function to call then? Well, that's why we do the dot choose snack to say out of all that highlighted portion, the function I want to run is dot choose snack. So think of it that way, is that, again, in this file, everything here that we have highlighted, anything that we put in this file is snack in index.js. But we need to call to a specific function within that file, within that highlighted portion. So we say dot choose snack. I want to run this in this particular function inside of that file. So snack is the file, and choose snack is that individual specific function within it. So hopefully that clears it up a little bit, but don't think of snack as an individual function. It's a representation of a whole bunch of functions in one giant snack. So does that kind of help a little bit?
Sorry about that, Kyle. So you just randomly named it snack, right? You could just name it whatever, right?
Yeah, we can name it dog if you guys want. Say dog.
There we go.
We still run it, and we got popcorn. Yep. So remember, this is just an arbitrary name.
So Kyle, you're just reassigning the exported module to a variable, right? And you're giving it the address. You're saying, go find this over here. Here's the address.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. We're giving it the address. This is that file I want, and I want all the stuff in it. Yep, very good. Oh, great way of thinking about it.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
So
I'm going to try really hard to formulate this question as coherently as possible.
Go for it.
But okay, let's say you have several modules and you're looking for a value in your main project file. You're looking for a value from another module, and that function, let's say, that produces that value is dependent on 3 other functions in that module. Do you need to import every function just for the value that you're looking for from that last function?
Let me try to make sure I understand this. Would you say if choose snack was dependent on add char to snack, are you asking if you have to export everything?
Yeah, so like is the function, let's say you were just exporting that one function that utilizes those
function.
Yeah, utilizes all those other functions within that module. Are you like creating a new instance of that function, or is it passing that information into that function, which is then going into that module and then running all the code and then bringing that value back?
The latter, what you just said, the second thing. You only export what you want to access. But if, like we're doing here, if, or I'm sorry, it would be the other way around. If we were only exporting choose snack and up here uses add char to snack, whatever, I don't need to export both of them. I only want to export the function that I want accessible. So to answer your question, no, you don't have to export the dependencies. I guess that would be the best word to put there for those functions. You just have to export the function you want accessible.
Thank you.
Yep. Go and Control Z some of that. And let's see, I had some questions here on the questions channel. I think, okay, cool. All right, everybody. So hopefully, it sounds like we're getting a little bit here, and hopefully everyone's getting a little bit more comfortable with exports. So I wanted to talk about one more thing here before we move past all of this. So let's go back here. You might have noticed this little guy here, this // and ask yourself, what in tarnation is that thing? So let's go ahead and talk about the tarnation. This is how we're going to refer to the location of our modules within our own application. So what you just saw here is / and then our file name .js. This / means look directly in this directory or this folder. To see it more in a visual sense, this is our home directory right here. You don't have any folders. Remember, you're just like on your Windows or your Mac, whatever you want to think of. We have folders within folders in our applications as well. When we have that / there, it just means right here in the home directory, wherever you're running from. This is where filename.js is. This is where snacks.js is. But one thing we haven't seen yet, something like this, //. // means, hey, go back a directory and then look for it. Go back a directory and then look for it. Now, right now, our example, we can't really do much with that because we'd have to create directories to go back. We're just not going to do that, but you will need this. If you need to go back a directory, use / or / and then /. Let's go back. And just like how Macs and Windows work as well, we all know that all of our files, all of our photos aren't stored right at our home directory. They're within folders within folders. Same with our modules. We're going to have modules inside of folders or inside of directories. So what we do, again, just like Macs, just like Windows, we put that entire file location there. We need to tell exactly the location our module is at. The computer can't read our mind. Again, exact location needs to be given to the program. This one we can actually see. Let's go ahead and see that in action. If I come up here and say add a folder, I'm going to say modules or something like that, and I drag snacks into modules, snacks is now in modules. So if I run this, I'm going to get an error that says the module can't be found because I just changed the location of the module. I just put it inside of a folder. That changes where it's actually located. So what I have to do is I go up to index.js and I say, hey, don't look here, look in modules / snacks.js. I just gave it the exact location. Again, if you were just seeing this, I included or added this modules folder here and then put snacks within it. and then I updated my location. I run this again, and now we get back grapes. An exact location needs to be given. All right. If there's no other questions, we are going to keep moving on here so we can get everything in here. But the fun thing is that you guys look to be unmuted. And here, it is a busy day here in St. Louis. Real quick though, can you help us visualize going back and forward or down and up looking for specific files? There is no down or up necessarily. It's only back or forth. You need to make sure that you're actually in, jeez, Louise. All right. Sorry, they're coming for me finally. They know I've been overeating my cookies. All right, there is no up or down specifically when looking for files, but there is back and forth. We just saw the going forward, as we see with modules and snacks. This is going forward. We're going into a directory to find our modules. If maybe we wanted to do, well, that's just gonna break replit there. If we wanted to go back, say we wanted to import index.js for some reason, what we would do here in snacks for whatever reason, and I don't recommend doing this, I'm just showing you visually, I'm not gonna run this because it will break, but what we can say is const index. If I wanted to find my index here, what I would do is index equal require quotes dot dot then slash index.js. This technically would find the index.js file. What I'm telling you is to say, go out of modules and go to the base directory here, and then try to find index.js. So that would be fine going back a directory. Again, there's no up, down. You just have to be in the location and it can find it from there. All right. We're gonna keep moving forward here. In practice, which is preferable, relative or absolute path? You would always need the absolute path. You shouldn't have a relative path. You should always have the absolute, or I guess what you're talking about there. You technically relative. When you're index.js here, this is typically what you'll see. You don't want absolute path. Long story short, it's because your computer will not always be where your code is running. Your friend's computer or your teammate's computer doesn't have the exact absolute path of where your modules are. So you want to do relative path within your own application so it can be shared on GitHub without having to change all your paths around. So relative is what you want. Good question. All right, everyone, we're gonna have to move on here. But I am going to unmute everybody. Allow. Come on in and tell me this. Does anyone know any of these? I hope someone does. We're gonna talk about some snack facts. The cookie to cream ratio of an Oreo is always, without fail, they bolded that one in the fact sheet. Blank to blank. What is the cookie to cream ratio of an Oreo? Who can tell me that?
1 to 2.
2 to 1.
It is actually very specific. It is 71% to 29%. So 71% cookie, 29% cream, which that cream is vegan. Found that out also. So, but it might be actually in a machine that has processed milk. It is very specific. But 71% to 29%, unless you get double stuff, then it's a better ratio. It's like a 50-50. Continuing on, the little man on the Pringles can has a name. His name is what?
Mr. Pringle?
Yeah, Mr. Pringle.
Right.
Percy.
Mr. Pringle was his father.
Julius.
His name is
Clark.
Julius. His name is
Julius?
Julius.
I think I remember seeing that somewhere.
Yes, it is Julius.
Dude, why you know this?
That is random.
How do you know his name?
Looks like a stand.
Why does he have
Right?
a name?
Julius
How is this?
mustache.
Doritos were invented in
Looks like a
1955,
stand.
but in where? Where were Doritos invented?
No way.
The name is Spanish, meaning little gold things, but it was actually invented somewhere in America. I will give you that hint.
Disneyland.
Detroit.
It was Disneyland. Whoever Googled that.
Disneyland.
Wow.
It was Disneyland,
He
yes.
Googled it.
I
must have Googled.
Very
Can't
good,
even
yes.
accidentally get that right.
You don't actually get that, huh?
Oh, yeah, it was like, I forgot what it is, but I also looked at the name in Spanish, which is really interesting too. Very good. There are your random snack facts of the day, all for free. Isn't that delicious? All right, let's keep moving forward here. Let's talk about some NPM. I already brought up this word today once, but we haven't really talked about too much of what it is. It's a life-changing tool. It has brought happiness to my face working with this thing. Because I come from old days where I had to go out and get modules, per se, and bring them in on a flash drive or a floppy disk and have to do coding that way. But NPM has made life so much easier. NPM stands for Node Package Manager. And what it is think of it almost as an app store for your functions in JavaScript. Readline Sync is one of thousands upon thousands of different modules people all over the world, smart people, have made in order to bring into our application so we don't have to do something that's a pain in the tush. So that's what Node Package Manager is there for. Again, it's a place where thousands of modules or packages, they're more referred to as packages, can be used within your application. Feel free to go to the npm.com, basically npm website, to go and just explore things. You can do things that are unimaginable. So you could maybe take over your computer browsers or your computer's webcam from there. You can create forms. You can do complex orbital math if you wanted to. Physics engines, things like that. It's very, very interesting. Is Bootstrap similar to NPM? It is not necessarily the same. Bootstrap is a styling mechanism or styling code that helps keep websites consistent. Well, NPM is a way that we can share packages or modules or other code with other developers across applications. So they're not really similar. One's going to deal more with styling. The other one's going to deal with the actual integrity of the application, if that's the Bootstrap you're referring to as well. So that is NPM in a nutshell. I'm not going to go too much into it because we'll bring in the packages that we need, but I do really invite you all to go out to NPM and just check it out. It is kind of cool, and it's kind of cool to see what's out there possible for us to use, all for free. It is free also, which is really nice. A lot of open source. All right, let's keep moving on. The last thing I have for you all tonight is I want to go through assignment 2, just a quick introduction, just to say hi to everybody, what assignment 2 is going to look like and what you're all going to need to do there, and then we'll be done with today. Ooh, excuse me. Give me one moment here to grab that. Oh, of course. I'm going to go up here for a second. That. Bear with me. I do some things up here. There we go. And I will just delete this later. But here we go. There we go. There we go. Perfect. And welcome to assignment number 2. Let's go to our console. So what this is going to be a Scrabble score. Scrabble scorer. Let's go ahead and launch code. Open chapters. Perfect. And we'll go to assignments, number 2. So Scrabble score is going to be something that essentially what you're going to take in is a word for it to be scored against the Scrabble score. What we're going to be doing here is that we are going to be using where is it at? Right here. We're going to be using this point structure, which, as you can all tell, this is an object. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing something to this object that's full of arrays, and converting into a nicer looking object that we can utilize. Additionally, what this is going to do is that we, in Scrabble, or if you are not familiar with Scrabble, a letter on the board is worth a specific amount. So A is worth 1 point. Well, a X, which is a harder or more rare word or rare letter in the English language, is going to be worth 8 points. And so the better way you spell something, the more money you get, the more points you get. So that's really what Scrabble is. So we're going to be taking in this old point structure, converting to something new. Again, we're going to be working a lot with objects here. And we're going to be console logging essentially what the score is. So the concepts we're going to be working with here is that we're going to be working with objects, we're going to be working with functions, arrays, all of our stuff, conditionals, more functions, things like that. So we're going to come in here, we're going to run it. It's going to prepare some stuff. As you can see, that was NPM running some stuff to bring in things for us to help. And enter a word to score. Let's see. I'm going to say snack since that's the word of the day. And as you can see, we're gonna have options. So the user's gonna be able to select which way they want to actually score their word. So a simple 1 point per character. So if it was 1 point per character, snack is 5 characters, so we should get a 5 back. Score for snack is 5. Let's go ahead and run it again. Let's try out number 1 now. So do all the installation stuff. We're gonna say snack again. Come down here, and it says vowel bonus. So vowels are worth 3 points. So we do that, and the word for the points for snack is 7. Run it one more time, and we're gonna do one more scoring technique. I'm gonna say snack once again. Come down here, we're gonna say we're using that Scrabble score. And now we're using that, it's 11 points. So what assignment 2 is going to be is utilizing all the concepts we know and the beginning code that they give you to do 3 different ways of doing points for individual words that are given here. A user is going to give you back a word, you're going to give them a score using 3 different scoring techniques. So this is the start of assignment 2. So I just want to do a quick example here. And of course, this recording will be out there. So if anyone is just very curious about how it's supposed to be, this is the very, just getting your feet a little wet on assignment 2. So I'm going to go ahead and open up for questions. We have a few minutes here. So feel free, any questions about this assignment 2, I can get into as much as I possibly can, but I might have to limit myself, or any of the concepts that we covered today.
So just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. So just kind of briefly going over the instructions, we are supposed to like convert that first object to another object that scores the words in different ways. Is that right?
Yeah, so what you're going to do, why did I just lose that? Am I on assignment 2? Sorry, I'm trying to look for that structure. But yeah, what you're going to do is necessarily convert this object into a better looking object. And then using that better looking object or the new object to do your scoring. So a 2-step process, converting the old object into the new object, using that new object to score that word.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. It looks like we got a question here. When exporting, does it matter where we place the modules exports command? The examples have it at the end, but can we place it at the top of the file? I would recommend always placing it at the bottom. Place your module.exports at the bottom of your file. Great question. While always importing at the top. So importing at the top, exporting at the bottom. When I run the code, I don't get the option of choosing different ways to score the word. After entering the word, program stops at enter a word question. So for that, if that's happening, go ahead and take a look at your code, because you will probably, so what I just showed you was not the beginning code. It was the ending code that you should be getting at the assignment's end. So that was a working end example of assignment 2. When you first start out, I don't exactly remember where it leaves you, but you will need to implement your own way of asking those questions. So hopefully that helps. If it doesn't, let me know. But yeah, again, that example was a completed assignment 2.
So does the new point structure, have the same values as the old point structure?
Yes. It absolutely does. So yeah, so you're going to read the directions specifically. I'm not going to go through too much specifics, but you're going to be changing essentially the numbers as the property names to the letters as the property names, and the points to the values, if I remember properly for assignment 2. So it's almost like flipping it.
Okay.
All right, I can take a few more questions here, and then we got to hop off.
I have a quick question about exporting.
Yeah, what's going
on? So I know you did the example. So I know at the end of the code, you do module.export equals curly brackets, and you did choose snacks, colon choose snacks, comma, and curly brackets. So what's next? Like, how is it exported? You just write that in and...
That's it. It really is.
That's it?
This is it. So this is how it's exported. But if you want to import it, what do you do?
look at my notes. You're gonna do well, on the other one, you're gonna do const snack equals require.
Yep, we're gonna use that. We're gonna use that require.
Okay. I just thought that maybe it's like, well, I know you typed it in. I'm thinking, do you click run, and how do we know it's there? So just typing it in right there, just it's in there.
Yep, absolutely right.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Any further questions about exports, assignment 2, all the fun stuff? Because if not, wrong way, but oh well. If not, we are all done with today. Happy snack attack, everybody. All right. Big stretch. We started with a stretch, we ended with a stretch. Yes, all good. Perfect. Let's stop and sharing. And as always, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed exports here. Very, very strong, popular subject. Hopefully you did start to click. If not, feel free to direct message me any questions. But thank you for sticking with me to the end. Feel free to go to your small groups now. That is all that is all that I have for lecture today. So thank you everyone for joining me. I will remember we do not have lecture on Thursday. Go directly to your small groups at 5:30. So I will see you all back here on Monday with our new guest teacher, Bree, for the day. So thanks again, everyone, and have a fantastic day and week.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye, everybody.